What's up, everybody? Pastor Scott here with a quick, somewhat unannounced episode of The Word with Fuss. As you can see, I am not alone. I have Mr. Benson Cope with me tonight, our part of our worship band. But there's so much more to Benson just besides how daggone good he is at the guitar. Benson, how's everything going?
It's going really good. It's going good. Just kind of hanging out. It's been a good day. It's kind of tired of the quarantine, but it is what it is, man.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. Well, how you been occupying your time? I know the grandbaby's got to be part of that.
Oh, yeah. That's kind of why I'm outside as well. It gets kind of loud in the house.
Yeah.
But occupying my time a lot with stuff around the house, and then I've been having more time to record, which I enjoy that. Seems like a lot more time to pray and really reflect though as well.
Good. Yeah, I know you're a big reflection guy. Until you get to know you better, you don't really realize that, because most of the time, I think, at least at church, people see you just playing the guitar. But I think that. So let's talk a little bit about, if you don't mind, we'll jump right into a few things that people might not know about you.
Let's go for it.
Tell us a little bit about your line of work outside of what you do with the guitar. What you talked about how much you really enjoy your job. So tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, a little bit about that. I'm an addictions, drug and alcohol counselor, which is really cool. It's a way that I feel like I can serve the Lord for sure. Meeting people at their lowest is something that actually I find an honor to be a part of their lives. And so I work on the detox side, where people come in and sometimes fresh off the street and this and that, but being able to just be a part of their lives, letting them know that they're still worth something, that there's still people that care, and it's just so rewarding. It's so rewarding.
Yeah, letting them know they're worth something. That's important, man. Tell us, dig a little bit deeper there. I'm interested.
Okay. I think, we've all had probably hard times, it's just a part of life. And we've all made foolish decisions. I know I have anyways. I know in group you talk a lot about, we use I statements, right? I've made foolish decisions, this and that. But it's one of my favorite groups to do. For instance, I'll take a dollar bill and I'll try and get a new one if I can. And then I'll hold it up and I'll ask somebody in the group if they want it. Typically somebody says yes. And then I'll say, why is it that you want it? Well, it's $1. Let me get it around to it's worth something, right? And then I start crunching the dollar up till it's just a little ball. And then I step on it. And then I pick it back up. I say, that's probably what some of you guys feel like right now. And then I ask somebody if they still want it. And eventually somebody will say, yeah. I'll say, why? And they say, because it's still $1. Right. And then I'll start to unravel a little bit. Right. And then, is it the same dollar bill? Well, yeah and no, because it's wrinkled and it's maybe tore a little bit. It's been through some stuff, but it's still worth something, but it's changed.
Wow.
And what I relate that to is stuff that I went through. I found a way to use that for good. The bad stuff that I went through, I found a way to use that for good, because I believe that time is so precious, right? Our time is so precious. And that for a long time, I thought that time was wasted. But now, script's been flipped, so to speak, and I can use that for good.
Yeah.
So
man,
it's a pretty awesome thing.
That's a sermon right there, man.
That's a sermon.
Yeah. If you guys were blessed by that little mini sermon right there, make sure you click that share button. Click that share button. So for those of you that don't know, Benson's kind of like family to me. He married my cousin. He married my cousin. So
at your dad's not request, but at your dad's poking, I think.
Yeah, he hooked it up.
Prodding.
Yes, he hooked it up.
I'm glad he did.
So, Benson, tell us about how long you've been playing the guitar, and when did you start, and kind of what made you even pick one up in the first place? Like when you ever first picked one up.
When I ever first picked one up, I was a little boy. No, I think music's always been a part of my life. It was a part of my dad's life through his dad, and it kind of skipped him. So what I think is, I started playing, I believe when I was 9. But even before then, there was always music in the house. And I think being an only child, I had an imagination, man. So I would hear music and I would see pictures along with that, even as a little kid. Anyways, because one of my earliest memories about music is my mom had music boxes. I know we've talked about this before, and I would wind those things up and I'd watch them. I was just fascinated, and I could hear that melody, but I was really fascinated by it. But I was offered to play an instrument at a young age. I think my dad wanted to see if I had it because there was other people, his brothers and sisters that could play.
Sure.
But he never could. So anyways, it was like piano, and I didn't want to play the piano at that time. I wanted to play the drums. Right, probably like
everybody wants to play the drums, right? That's the cool instrument.
Right. And my dad didn't want to hear drums, probably, which I understand. So somehow we settled on the guitar, and but I wanted to play rock and roll, and he wanted me to play country. So the deal was, if I started off and I did it kind of his way, right, then I could take rock lessons or whatever. He just wanted to see if I was going to stick with it, if I had anything, and if I would stick with it. So, that's one thing about my dad. I knew even from then that if I did, he would always honor his word. He's always honored his word. And so I did, and I got to do kind of my own thing or whatever after that. And I don't know. It's always just kind of been a part of my life.
Sure. Yeah. Tell us, tell the folks that are listening or watching. I already knew this, but who are like who's your biggest musical influence, man? I thought I knew this answer, but I could be wrong.
Yeah. I was thinking about that, and you're probably gonna think I'm gonna say Neil Sean.
Yes, Journey, right?
Journey, but not so much Journey, but Journey, but Neil. He's got a lot of solo records, and I'm not a singer. Obviously.
You don't sound anything like him. Like, that's a joke, by the way. Like, as soon as you start playing the guitar, it sounds just like that dude.
Well, that's a bummer because I wish I sounded like Benson, man. Who's that guy, right?
Yeah.
He hides behind a lot of things. So, anyways, I seen him in concert when I was 14. I think I was 14. I was in 1981. Anyways, I was going through a pretty tough time in my life as a teenager. I didn't know where I was going, this and that and the other. I'd always played sports, and but I knew I couldn't do that anymore. I just wasn't big enough. I didn't know. I was having a real identity crisis, man. And so, anyways, I'd been playing guitar for a little while, but just kind of here and there. I seen them in concert, and it was actually kind of life changing. I seen him. I thought, man, that's exactly what I want to do. It's like, exactly. I could never put it into words, but when I seen that, I thought, that's it. And just so happened, not long after that, a buddy asked me to join their band. And I was like, okay. So I joined their band, and then we played a talent show, and I got to play on stage. And I just thought, man, this is it. This is what I'm going to do. I'm not going to play football. I'm not big enough. I can't hit a curveball. I'm going to play guitar. I'm going to do this like, a whole lot more, I guess. And I was just I've always been drawn to music as a kid. When we go on vacation, it seemed like there would be some kind of festival and there'd be music. And I was always interested in the backstage stuff too, like walking behind and seeing that kind of stuff. So it's always been a real big part of my life for a lot of reasons, I guess.
Sure. It's got to be therapeutic, I'm sure.
It's very therapeutic. When you said what's the biggest, well, not what, but who's the biggest influence, right?
Yeah.
And it's probably him, but probably one of the biggest influences is pain and suffering is a big influence in playing music.
Wow.
It's a way that I heal, and I think it's a way that other people heal. You know, that's what I think. It's the way I like to start my day. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So it is very therapeutic. I tell my clients this because there's a lot about like, I'm big on like trying to stay in the moment, trying to stay in today, because I'm an overthinker.
Yeah.
So when you say, hey man, we're going to do this live Facebook thing, like 10 things go through my mind in a millisecond, right? Because I'm already overthinking. I got to say, no, we're still in today. I don't know when that's going to be, right? So I cannot play and worry at the same time.
It's good.
I can't do it. I'll do one or the other. Now, sometimes I'll sit down my guitar and I still choose to worry. But I can't play and worry at the same time. I can't.
Yeah. You mentioned pain and suffering. So that's a very unique perspective.
Well,
I can hear it in your music when you play. More recently, you've been playing, or you've been blessing us with a few things that you've been doing at home, which
I hope it's a blessing.
It is, man. And part of getting you on here was to get more people to find out how that it's out there and how they can access it. But before we even do that, tell us a little bit about this. I don't know if it's a shift or whatever, but obviously God's put like a new thing kind of in your heart to put some things out to bless people with. That's been going on, at least from what I can see, with this little latest deal for about a month or 2 or 3. I can't tell, but share with us kind of what you're doing and why you think God put it on your heart and what you want it to do for people.
Okay. Well, I've been doing this for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I've had a studio at the house for years, and I got a lot of stuff recorded. And it is what it is. And I'm always I want to say leery, but probably more afraid of sharing it. Right? Sometimes it's like I don't like a lot of attention on myself, and the music has always brought that, and I've not always enjoyed that. I will use humor to deflect when I feel awkward.
Yeah, that's a good one to use, by the way. It works well.
So, anyways, it's always been there, but just recently, I thought, man, I read about using talents like in the Bible, right? And you got the talents. I was talking to Joe. We were talking about music, or not really music, but just life in general, and using stuff. And something that you said, that Brian Suman said, content breeds content, right? And the more I would do groups, the more I would learn how to do groups, and the more I would know that it's okay, God's still with me, and all this and that and the other. But with music here lately, it's like I really feel, I want to say pressed, sort of in my heart to share this. I don't want it to be just buried on my computer. Like somebody buried the talent, right? And it didn't work out too good.
That's another sermon, man. You're preaching tonight.
I'm preaching tonight.
Yeah, you're preaching.
So anyways, I felt like I've allowed myself. God's probably been giving me the okay, but I haven't given myself the okay. And I'm learning how to do that, that it's okay, because I'm a pretty reserved kind of guy.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. Sometimes I don't think I'm worth much, or my music is, and that's probably pretty common. And I've also, I think God has always been there. He's always been there. Me and Joe were also talking when I was in Bible college. there was a guy there, and we did a class on how to give a presentation. And this was right after me and Joe were married. So anyways, he did a presentation on a Stratocaster. I was like, oh, wow, Fender Stratocaster. I got to see if I can play this thing. And he was like, yeah, man. And I started playing. He's like, whoa, man, you're pretty good. I'm like, well, I've been playing for a little while. Whatever. He's like, man, this is what I want you to do. I want you to come to my dorm. This is at Cincinnati Bible College. Come to my dorm, and I got an amp, and we'll crank that amp up, and we'll shut the door, and everybody's going to think it's me, but it'll really be you. So I met him there one night, and I had my guitar, and he had his guitar, and we did that. It was funny. We did that. He cranked his amp up, and people thought it was him, and it was a big joke and stuff. We were laughing, but he said, you know what you ought to do, man? And this is coming from a kid, right? He said, this is what you ought to do. You got to take your guitar and an amp, and you got to just go on the street corner and just start playing. He said, that could be your ministry, man. That could be your ministry. I thought, And he said, you know, you could give lessons, and that could be a ministry. God could open a door, and you could share the gospel. And so I had recordings, and I actually kind of thought about that for a little bit. And I have given lessons. I've taught full time. I've actually been thinking about maybe doing that some again. I got time now. But anyways, I had when I was playing at another church, I let the sound man listen to a recording of Your Love is Extravagant that I was going to play guitar to. I just wanted to see what it sounded like over the PA. And he's like, man, that's what you ought to do. You got to make recordings like that and play along with them. I thought, man, you're kind of like the second dude that said that. And then actually one time I was over at your all's place. You wasn't there. It was just your brother, Russ. And I was playing, and he said the same thing. So it's always been on the back of my mind, but I've not really had the confidence, to do that. It's like a step of faith. You know what that's like.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So that Your Love is Extravagant. I know you love that song.
That song, it means a lot to me.
Yeah, and you have it out there available to listen to right now. I really loved the it's probably because I love the Leland song so much, Waymaker, that you did. That was tremendous, man. I've listened to that several times since you put it out. But tell us a little bit about where they can find your latest stuff, and about like how often are you kind of trying to throw something out there to bless people with. Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, you can find it on my website, bensoncope.com. Or you can find it on the church's YouTube, right?
Yep, YouTube page, Foundation Community Church.
Those are the two main places. And if you go to SoundCloud, if you want to go there, it's a lot of stuff's out there. So what was the other question?
So the other question was basically, where can they find it at, and about how often can they expect to be getting some of this stuff?
I was trying to do at least one a week, but it takes me a while to do it because I'm playing everything. Yeah,
it is a tremendous recording, Benson. Like I'm assuming you're doing every track. Yeah,
I'm playing the bass, the keyboards. I'm programming the drums because I don't have a drum set. Everything else, I'm literally playing part by part. So it takes me a while.
It's tremendous. It sounds great, man. I've been blessed by it. I'm always eager to get the next thing.
Yeah. Just real quick, what I'm praying about, and I know we talked about it a little bit. You know, I've always had like my identity a lot in music, and my wife, Joe, she'll break that and say, "You're a lot more than that."
Sure.
You're a lot more than that. But what I'd like to ultimately do, you're talking about what I'd like God to do with it or whatever.
Sure.
He's going to do whatever he wants to. All I feel like I need to do is put it out there.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know. I mean, he did a lot with a couple of the pieces of bread and fish, right?
Yeah, it's called God Math. I was studying God Math today, and I think I got a sermon series coming up, and I'm going to call it God Math because it just never makes sense to us, but it's just a God thing.
Yeah, right. Wow. That just made me think of something. Sorry. I was just thinking about the scripture that really I leaned on a lot, and I sent I think I sent you a text on it.
You did.
Yeah. And here lately, I've had a lot of people want to help me. It's about the guy that couldn't get in that pool. He was in the pool of Bethesda.
Yep.
Right. You couldn't get in, and he said, I ain't got nobody to help me. But, and I've always said that, because I've always felt the tugging in my heart to like do something like I want to do, which is what I'd really like to do is getting back and go down rabbit holes. Getting back, just use music as a platform to maybe get attention and maybe share my testimony.
Sure.
And maybe give somebody some hope
that
they can make it.
Well, let's plan some time for you to do that at Foundation. We'll be your first one.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll get it on the map.
But that's what I'd like to. That's really what is on my heart to do.
Good. Well, you've been a blessing to me for years, for a lot of years. And as a pastor, I couldn't even describe in words what a blessing it is to have people like you seeing the vision, getting on board, using your talents, using what God gave you to make Foundation what it is, to reach people with God's love. Like, I can't put that into words. Like, I appreciate you ultimately as family. You've been blessing me for years, but then as a pastor as well, just like, thank you is not enough. You know what I mean? Like, we are so blessed at Foundation with people like you that make our church what it is. And I didn't want to get off the show without telling you that.
Oh, I appreciate that. I do. I appreciate that. I'm a very small part, and that's okay.
You're kind of like I don't think like a gentle giant would be the right word, but you're so gentle and smooth, and you don't say much, and then you let them strings roar, man, and it's like, whoa. I didn't know that guy had all that. So,
but my heart is to really be able to tell somebody, Jesus loves you.
Yeah, you got a great story. I know we didn't have time to share a bunch, but gosh, your testimony is really, really special, and we're going to find some time to let some people hear more about it. We'll set something up at Foundation, and then, like you said, we'll just let God take stuff from there.
Yeah, man, that's what I pray for. That's what I pray for more than anything. And music's just like we talked about, just a vehicle.
Yep.
I love to play.
Yep. It's the same thing we're doing tonight. This is just a vehicle, right? Getting on here live to tell people about God's love. Benson, we are up to about almost to the 25-minute mark. It flies, doesn't it? Like when we did the Shine Your Light podcast, I feel like I've been talking for 10 minutes and we're at the 45-minute mark or whatever. So we're gonna jump off here. So for everybody that's been watching, everybody that's been listening, if you've been blessed by this, please share. Click the share button and check out bensoncope.com.
That's correct.
For more of his music. You can get on SoundCloud and hear it as well. And then, of course, our YouTube Foundation Community Church page. Click that and actually click subscribe and actually hit like notifications.
Yes.
And when we upload that stuff, you'll get a notification to your phone and you'll know when all the new stuff comes up from any of us. We have sermons on there. We got sermon snippets on there. We got Jared on there singing.
Yes.
We got Benson on there playing. So there's a lot of good stuff on there that I think you guys would enjoy.
Yes, sir.
Benson, we're going to check out, buddy. God bless you. It's been a pleasure to have you with us tonight, man. Stay safe. See ya.
You too, man.